Portugal has made it official. Naturalization now takes 10 years, up from 5. President Antonio José Seguro signed amendments to Law 3781, Portugal's nationality law, on May 3rd. Once published in the Diário da República, which could happen any day, it will take effect immediately. But that's not the whole story, and it's far from the end of this controversy. This impacts every foreign national currently living in Portugal on a residence permit, every D1 passive income holder visa, every D8 digital nomad visa, every golden visa investor, and every person who is counting down the years to a Portuguese passport. If you've been following this story, you know it didn't happen overnight. The law went through a parliamentary vote, a constitutional court challenge, and even a presidential veto. It had a complete rewrite, a second vote, and a new president before it got signed. And buried inside that process were critical details that change exactly who is impacted, how they're impacted, and whether there's any legal path to protection for people already mid-process. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly where you stand and what your options are, whether you're deep into your Portugal journey or just beginning to consider one. I'm Brad from Evolution Expats. Let's get into it. Now, 7 months ago, I warned you the day that Parliament first approved these changes back on October 28th of 2025. The PSD-Chega coalition pushed it through. I said at the time, don't wait for a grace period. So here's what happened next. The Partido Socialista, the Socialist Party, challenged it in the Constitutional Court. On December 15th, the court struck down 4 provisions as unconstitutional, but left the core 10-year timeline intact. President Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa then vetoed the bill entirely. A lot of people celebrated, thinking that the reform was dead. But on April 1st, Parliament passed a revised version, 152 to 64 in the votes. And on May 3rd, a new president, Antonio José Seguro, signed it into law. It is now awaiting its publication, where it will take immediate effect afterwards. So it is no longer a proposal, and it is no longer waiting for the primary constitutional court challenge. There's no longer a debate being had in the government offices. This is the law. So let me walk through you exactly what it is, because the final version is not identical to what Parliament passed back in October of last year. To start with, 10 years of legal residency for general applicants to naturalize and become citizens. That's only 7 years, though, for European Union citizens and CPLP nationals. That's the community of Portuguese language-speaking nations, which include Brazil, Angola, Mozambique, Cape Verde, and a few others. The citizenship countdown starts at the same time for everybody, though, and that's when your residence permit is issued by the AIMA, the Agência para Integração, Migrações e Asilo, Portugal's immigration agency, not when you submit your application. It's a common misconception. When the AIMA's backlogs are still running months or over a year in some cases, your real timeline could be 11, 12, even 13 years, depending on how long it takes to move through that process. President Seguro flagged this specifically when he signed the law, and what he said about it matters. We'll get to that in a moment. There are also integration tests, and they are now mandatory. You need to demonstrate Portuguese language proficiency at an A2 level. That's the CPILE exam, the standard Portuguese proficiency certification. You must also pass a civics knowledge test covering Portuguese history, culture, rights, duties, and you must also make a formal declaration affirming your commitment to democratic values. The criminal conviction threshold was adjusted from the October version. The original draft barred anyone with a conviction carrying a 2-year sentence. The Tribunal of the Constitution called that disproportionate. The revised law sets the bar at 3 years. Additionally, Sephardic Jewish ancestry pathways under Decree Law 30-A of 2015 is formally abolished, although pending applications filed before the 2022 cutoff are still being processed. There is also a new great-grandparent descent pathway that has been added. Third-generation descendants can now claim citizenship, but with a higher bar, B1 Portuguese proficiency, and strong evidence of genuine connection to the country. I would recommend absolutely that you will need to be living there in order for that to be processed. You can't just do that one remotely. And then there's going to be the part that's going to generate lawsuits for the next few years. The final text does include a transitional provision. Pending citizenship applications that were filed before the law takes effect will continue to be processed under the old 5-year rule. That's in the decree itself, and that is excellent news for a lot of people who thought they might get left in limbo or even be denied despite being halfway through. But if you're mid-residency and you haven't filed for the citizenship yet, the amended law 3781 does not protect you. If you're at year 4 of your residency and you were counting on filing under the 5-year rule next year, unfortunately, you will be adjusted to the 10-year timeline. Which brings us back to President Seguro. He signed the law, but he made 2 public statements that immigration lawyers across Portugal and around the world are watching very closely. First, pending applications should not be adversely affected. And he went further than just the filed applications. He called any retroactive harm to people who relied on existing rules and undesirable breach of trust of the state, both domestically and internationally. That language extends beyond what the degree text explicitly covers, and it's language that lawyers will use in appeals that are no doubt forthcoming. Second, citizenship timelines should not be undermined by administrative delays caused by the state itself. That is a direct reference from the president to the AIMA backlog, and it's extremely significant because Minister of the Presidency, Antonio Leato Amaro, has publicly promised to clear all outstanding golden visa applications by the end of 2026, and the AIMA organization has made and missed similar promises like this before, including a 30 to 90-day processing pledge from early 2025 that was never fulfilled. It's important to understand that Seguro's statements are presidential remarks, not binding legal provisions, but they do carry a weight in the litigation that is upcoming. Immigration attorney Madalena Monteiro of Liberty Legal, the lawyer representing the golden visa investors in their challenge at the Tribunal Constitutional, has noted that the president's own words strengthen their legal position, and that challenge is still active. So, Evolution Expat's position is, if you are currently mid-process, document everything. Your application dates, your submissions, your proof of residency, all the way back to day one. If the transition protections are eventually carved out through the courts, the documentation that you have will be whether or not you get included or excluded. But do not sit there waiting for a ruling to save you. Have a parallel strategy, because hope is not a plan in these types of things. And that raises the bigger question. Is Portugal even still the right strategy for you anymore? Because what's happening here is not happening in isolation. This is a continental shift happening across Europe and indeed around the world. Spain abolished its golden visa program entirely under Organic Law 1 of 2025, effective April 3rd of 2025. Property-based residency by investment in Spain is permanently gone. Additionally, the EU entry-exit system, the EES, is rolling out across the Schengen zone with full enforcement expected by late 2026. Digital border tracking, biometric checks, automated overstay alerts. Germany has also tightened its citizenship fast track. And of course, Italy's naturalization processing times make Portugal look efficient. Every country that opened its doors during the pandemic is now reconsidering those policies. Now, I said in my last video that Evolution Expats believes that these changes are fundamentally good, and I stand by that. Portugal had become a passport mill. People wanted Portuguese citizenship so they could live somewhere else in Europe, not to actually be Portuguese. The reforms to Law 3781 say that you need to learn a language, know our history, and contribute to our economy and integrate into our society. I believe that is reasonable. Countries that require genuine integration create better outcomes for everyone. And additionally, this is a reflection of the popular will in Portugal. The politicians are reacting to what their constituents want. Of course, what is reasonable and right for you from the outside are two different questions. So let me speak to these different groups. If you already submitted a citizenship application under the 5-year rule before the law takes effect, the degree text explicitly protects you. Your application continues under the old rules. The Tribunal Constitutional backed this principle in December, and the final text reflects it. Now, you want to get legal confirmation of your status and preserve every document that you have, but you are in the strongest position of anyone possibly affected by this change. Then, if you're 1 to 4 years into your residency on a D7 visa, a D8 digital nomad visa, or a golden visa, or any other type of permanent residency permit, and you haven't filed for citizenship yet, this is the hardest position to be in. The degree protects pending applications only, but it does not protect pending residency. The president's reservations and the pending court challenge leave a slight crack in the door, but the text as written does not cover you. I would say that you should get legal advice immediately. Do not assume anything, and make sure everything that you do has a specific plan with proper advice. Now, if Portugal was your plan, but you haven't started yet, then you need to recalibrate. Portugal is still an exceptional place to live. The safety, the quality of life, the Schengen access, and the permanent residency after 5 years of a temporary residency. None of that has changed. This reform only affects naturalization, not your right to live and work in Portugal. But if your primary goal was a fast EU passport, the math there has changed. 10 years is a decade-long commitment, and you need to decide if that fits into the life that you are planning for yourself and possibly your family. And if it doesn't, good news is that there are real alternatives. We've posted a full comparison why smart retirees are choosing Panama instead of Portugal. And with these changes, that video is more relevant now than even when we made it. If you're rethinking your strategy, that's a good place to start. But wherever you're looking, you need to understand what this global trend is and where it's heading, because what I see coming next will affect everyone watching this. The litigation over transitional protections at the Tribunal Constitucional will take years. If you're banking on a court ruling to save your 5-year timeline, you're betting your future on a process that you can't control. Meanwhile, more EU member states will follow Portugal's lead. The European Court of Justice ruling in EC versus Malta has already signaled that genuine integration is the new standard for naturalization across the European Union. Language tests, civic knowledge exams, and longer timelines. What the Assembleia da República just formalized, I would expect other European parliaments to replicate within 3 to 5 years. And underneath all of it, the AIMA backlog will remain the hidden timeline extension that nobody talks about. The law says 10 years, but the reality is never the same with these sort of things. And that's going to be more closer to 12 to 13 years. President Seguro knows it. He said so when he signed the bill. Eventually that might be addressed, but eventually it doesn't help you right now, and it might not even help you in the future, knowing how politicians are. So here's where we separate the people who take action from the people who bookmark videos but never come back to their dreams. If your Portugal plan just got disrupted by the amendments to the Law 3781, we're already working with people in exactly your situation. We're building custom recovery plans, analyzing their current positions, timelines, and goals. We then build a strategy that works under the new rules, whether it's staying the course in Portugal or pivoting to an alternative EU pathway, even leveraging a digital nomad visa to citizenship route in another country such as Spain, or restructuring from scratch. The solutions exist, but they will require personalized analysis, not generic advice from Facebook groups. The consultation link is in the description. If you're still early in this process, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. I cover these changes in real time, and I was on top of this 7 months before most channels caught up with what's happened today. In this industry, information has an expiration date. The people who act on it early are in a fundamentally different position than the people who wait. I'm Brad with Evolution Expats. Let's get you started, and I'll see you in our next video.